Once upon a time, a person sought advice from Gautam Buddha on how to manage his emotions. This individual was battling anger and frustration and was eager to find a way to better control his feelings. Buddha smiled, asked him to sit down, and said, "Let me tell you a story. There was once a king who ruled a prosperous country. One day he decided to visit a neighboring kingdom, having heard that its king was renowned for his wisdom. Upon his arrival, the king was welcomed with great honor. The neighboring king had prepared a grand feast in his honor. During the feast, the visiting king noticed a fly in his soup. Disgusted, he ordered his servant to bring another bowl of soup. Observing this, the neighboring king said, "Your Majesty, please don't be angry. It's just a small fly. It's of no consequence." The visiting king replied, "I cannot tolerate such things. Even a small fly can ruin my mood." The neighboring king smiled and offered, "Your Majesty, may I give you a piece of advice? It's not the fly that spoiled your mood, but your reaction to it. You hold the power to control your emotions. Don't let them control you." The king realized the wisdom in these words and returned to his kingdom. From that day on, he practiced the art of not reacting to situations that would have previously triggered his emotions. He found that he could maintain his composure in challenging situations and make better decisions. The power of not reacting is a valuable lesson for all of us. We often react to situations without thinking, which can lead to negative outcomes. Reacting with anger and frustration can damage our relationships and hinder our ability to make clear-headed decisions. However, not reacting doesn't mean suppressing our emotions. Emotions are a natural part of the human experience and should be acknowledged. Instead of reacting impulsively, we should take the time to process our emotions and respond thoughtfully. In another part of the world, there lived a young man named Michael, who was very emotional and often reacted impulsively to situations that upset him. He would get angry and say hurtful things, leading to arguments and hurt feelings. One day, Michael decided to take control of his emotions. He recognized that his impulsive reactions were causing more harm than good, and he wanted to change. He began practicing mindfulness and meditation, which helped him become more aware of his thoughts and emotions. Michael also started practicing the art of not reacting. Whenever he found himself in a situation that would normally trigger his emotions, he would take a step back and take a few deep breaths. He would then calmly assess the situation and respond thoughtfully. Initially, it was difficult for Michael to control his emotions. He would still feel anger and frustration, but he would step back and avoid reacting impulsively. As he continued to practice, he found it easier to control his emotions. Michael also noticed that his relationships with others improved. He no longer got into arguments or hurt people's feelings. Instead, he communicated in a calm and thoughtful manner, which helped him build stronger relationships. One day, a friend of Michael's came to him for advice, feeling very upset. Michael listened to his friend's problems and offered words of comfort and support. Grateful, his friend said, "You always know just what to say. You never seem to get angry or upset." Michael smiled and replied, "It's not that I never feel angry or upset. I've just learned to control my emotions and not let them control me. It's a powerful tool that has helped me improve my relationships and overall well-being." His friend was impressed and asked how he had learned to control his emotions. Michael shared his experiences with mindfulness and the power of not reacting, encouraging his friend to try it out. His friend was grateful for the advice. Over time, Michael became known for his calm and thoughtful demeanor. He could handle difficult situations with ease, and people admired his strength and resilience. He continued to practice mindfulness and the art of not reacting, finding that it brought him a sense of inner peace and happiness. The power of not reacting is a valuable lesson we can all learn from. It requires practice and patience, but the rewards are well worth it. By controlling our emotions, we can improve our relationships, make better decisions, and live more fulfilling lives. The moral of the story of the King and Michael teaches us that we have the power to control our emotions. While we may not be able to control what happens to us, we can control how we react to it. By practicing mindfulness and the art of not reacting, we can learn to control our emotions and respond thoughtfully. This is a powerful tool that can help us improve our relationships, well-being, and overall quality of life. So, let us take the time to practice and cultivate this skill, allowing it to transform our lives for the better. Anger will persist as long as thoughts of resentment are cherished in the mind. Anger will fade away as soon as thoughts of resentment are forgotten. Holding back rising anger is akin to a skilled driver controlling a chariot. Others merely hold the reins. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The one who conquers himself is greater than the one who conquers 1,000 foes on the battlefield. Do not be led by your reactions. Be guided by your actions. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it elsewhere. In a controversy, the moment we feel anger, we cease striving for truth and start striving for ourselves. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. You won't be punished for your anger, but by your anger. The root of suffering is attachment. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Letting go brings us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If we cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Respond, don't react. Respond with reason, not emotion. In the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. The one who experiences the unity of life sees himself in all beings and all beings in himself, and looks on everything with an impartial eye. Happiness never decreases by being shared. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. The only way to find true happiness is to let go of attachment to things and people. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. It is one's own mind, not an enemy or foe, that lures into evil ways. An idea developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea. There is no fire like passion, no shark like hatred, no snare like folly, no torrent like greed. What we think, we become. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we shape the world. If you want to fly, you must give up what weighs you down. If you want to change the world, change yourself first. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. The trouble is, you think you have time. The mind is like water. When turbulent, it's difficult to see, but when calm, everything becomes clear. The tongue, like a sharp knife, kills without drawing blood. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought. Purity or impurity depends on oneself. No one can purify another. Let us rise up and be thankful. If we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. If we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. If we got sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. The only real failure in life is not being true to the best one knows. The past is already gone. The future is not yet here. There is only one moment for you to live. To be idle is a short road to death. To be diligent is a way of life. Foolish people are idle. Wise people are diligent. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. Whatever a monk keeps pursuing with his thinking and pondering, that becomes the inclination of his awareness. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Do not look for sanctuary in anyone except yourself. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.